Well, I was recruited from Houston, just playing in regular showcases to make it to NC State on a full scholarship. So I was pretty fortunate for that because it made my experience pretty easy. I didn't have that much to worry about when I was there, other than playing and going to school. It was a high level, so it was fun for me. I only wanted to compete among the best players, and the ACC, that conference is, arguably one of the best conferences for women's soccer. Playing-wise, I feel like as I got older, I got better. Even now, I would say I'd still be a smarter soccer player today than I was in college, just because things get in the way, like your own ego or attitude or anything like that. But it was great. It was a great experience for me. I met some of my best friends to this day who I still keep in contact with. And above all, my coaches. My coaches did a lot for us, and it wasn't really until I got into the position that I am in now that I realized just how much work that they did behind the scenes. Because we just thought, oh, they just show up, coach us, and then they get to go home. But it's definitely not the case now that I'm in this position. That was honestly one of the best days of my life. I remember that was when Twitter first really started taking off, and so they told us to watch Twitter in order to find out how the draft was going and who was being selected. And so myself, my roommate, my boyfriend at the time, we were all like just sitting together in my apartment, and she had her laptop, I had mine, he had his, and we just kept refreshing when the draft started. My coach, my assistant coach at the time, Ben, he called me, and he was at the draft. So he was in Philadelphia at the draft in person. And so he called, and I answered, and I was like, yes. And he said, Lindsay. He's like, how do you feel about Boston, kid? And I was like, what? And we were hitting refresh because we knew he was calling for something. And when we hit refresh, it just said, Boston Breakers select Lindsay Vera for, whatever number of the draft. And I lit up, obviously. And it was honestly one of the best memories I have to date. So I had to hang up with him because I had to get off the phone really fast because, of course, my family was also staying tuned in and stuff like that. And then eventually, my boyfriend had to leave for practice, my roommate had to go to class, and I had just taken the day off. I told all my professors, like, I'm not going to be there. I don't know how long this is going to take. And I literally ran outside of my apartment and just did like a full lap around the parking lot because I had this huge burst of energy. And it was great. And so then later the next day, I got the call from the GM who just kind of explained the process and what's going to happen next and what to pay attention for. And that was it. I got there and got to play and practice with some of my own idols leading up to that point, like were true idols from the national team. And it was great. It was a great experience. I will never forget that. I played professionally for a little bit, and as that kind of started to fade out, I knew coaching was next. I got an internship at a youth club in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I got to learn like the beginning of the basics of youth coaching from some of the best coaches because Castle housed a lot of great coaches there. So with that, it just grew on me instantly. I knew coaching was what I wanted to do if I wasn't playing. After 4 or 5 years there, I had known some coaches who also knew Glad, who's the head coach here, and it just all fell together. So he was looking for his assistant. He reached out to these guys, they put my name in, he and I met, and it was perfect. Then we got down here to start the women's program together, and that's what I'm saying. I've learned a lot about what happens behind the scenes for a college coach because it's more than I had pictured, but it's been enjoyable.
Lindsay's my right-hand woman. I mean, she's involved in every aspect of our program. You have to remember that she's come from a great playing background. She was one of the best players in the country coming out of college, got drafted. So we're hoping to use her background also as an inspiration to our players. Her mental toughness and dedication to a healthy lifestyle is also important. And all that's come from a background at a very high level of playing and coaching and so forth.
Since I've been here, I respect communication a lot because every coach has different forms of communicating, and I think we're very open with our players, and I believe it helps them have insight to what we're focused on, and at the same time they can give their own feedback, and now we have insight on what they want to focus on. And so we kind of collaborate a little bit better that way. Especially now, I just appreciate the time that was invested for us, because I realize how much time I personally invest in these girls. So, and I mean, they deserve it, but at the same time, you know, you don't want it, nobody wants it to go unnoticed, so it's good.
So when she came in the program, it wasn't so much just come and help with our program and develop program. It was a greater need, a greater involvement. So I feel like she comes in and takes our program forward every time she comes to work. So that's what I look for in assistants. I look for people that will make our program better, make me better as a coach, and she certainly does that.